The Toyota Avalon has to be one of the most solid choices when you're talking about a daily driver.
Because for the small price of under $6,000, you can have
The ultra reliable 2GRFE, a luxurious interior with all the refinement, reclining rear seats,
in an absolutely massive trunk.
but all that stuff can really be mistaken for a super old person car, and we're gonna fix that.
And we're gonna start off in the interior with this device called the CarTablet Pro Max. Now I should mention every single product we're gonna show in this video is available down in the description below for you to purchase. And this is ultimately going to give us Apple CarPlay or Android Auto inside of a car of this era. And it's going to integrate nicely with the dashboard because of the layout of the Avalon. Now, the CarTablet Pro Max has a lot of features to really modernize the Avalon. It also even comes with a dash camera. However, I'm not gonna be utilizing it because I'm going to be placing this to almost look like it's factory in this car. Now the Toyota Avalon has a JBL system, which makes it very challenging to install aftermarket audio in. This is a very affordable way to add a lot of technology to the Avalon. Let's show you where we're gonna put it. Now, luckily the Avalon's interior is just all snapped together. So first we're just gonna pull up on this little panel around the shifter, unscrew the shifter and pull that off. Then we're gonna pull up our heated seat panel and unplug it. And then we're gonna pull off this small piece of trim right above the cup holders. Then all we have to do is simply kind of grab these two pieces of wood on the side here and pull up really hard, and this whole piece essentially comes off as one unit, just like this. As you pull this whole cluster out, we're now going to remove the door that we have that actually covered that original cassette tape that I'm never gonna use. Essentially, you're gonna take all the screws out that are holding in these wood pieces so we can access some of the screws that are holding this door in. And as my dad works on removing that door, I'm gonna remove these 4 Phillips and take out the cassette and undo the couple of connections on the back.
In a couple of minutes that Austin took to get the cassette out, we also got the cassette cover off. Now we're gonna drill a little hole for some power. This is really going pretty smooth.
All right, now we just made this really small incision inside of this little storage cubby down here. We ran this wire through here, and then we can just plug in for power right into our factory, just a little cigarette port. And then we have a USB on the back here for power in the future as well.
Although we're not gonna use the dash camera, we do wanna take advantage of the backup camera. In order to do this effectively, we need to start running the wire for the backup camera before we install the rest of the camera system up front, so we don't have to take it apart twice. So we're essentially just gonna run the wire from the rear of the car here. I think we already got a pretty solid path. We're gonna go into the cavity where the seat reclines, fed it through behind the seat without an issue. Just kind of creeped your hand behind there and grabbed a hold of it. It's right there, it really is. And then just using a pry tool if you need to get it started as far as a gap underneath the sill here. Right about the middle of the passenger seat, there's a nice split in the carpet to make the transition from the sill to underneath the passenger seat. Run it under the passenger seat, same split in the carpet is there. Very easy to get into the center console cavity. Just be mindful of where you're running that cable underneath. Right to the back where that cassette used to be.
Now that my dad has that camera wire ran, we're gonna take a Phillips screwdriver and just remove these 2 screws in the rear and take off these couple of clips in the trunk. And taking both of those off should allow us to just simply pull them out, just like this, and just like this, and then we can essentially just pull this whole thing kind of off. There's just a few clips that are holding it, but we just take off this entire plastic tub.
So the connection for the camera is going to meet right here where it's going to exit back, and we'll mount the camera back by the license plate. We followed the reverse lights down from the trunk, found the power wire here, just took off the insulation of the wire, and we wrapped the power wire around the existing reverse wire, and we're going to make that neat again, get some electrical tape on there, run it back, and bada bing, bada boom. Already tested it, it works.
And while my dad works on wrapping up the back of the trunk, I'm gonna work on installing some brand new LED bulbs from Lasfit LED. These guys make some of the most high quality LED light bulbs that are out there. We have ran these in multiple vehicles, and it's really gonna modernize the look. From anything from headlights, high beams, taillights, let's get working on installing all of it and show you that before and after. Completely modernizes the look, and I mean, just looking against the wall here, the brightness difference is completely unbelievable, making this a lot more easy to drive at night. Let's show you what it looks like in back. And just look at that difference on these back housings as well. Really brightens them up, modernizes the look compared to the stock halogens over on this side. Be sure to check out our link to Lasfit down in the description below. Let's show you that screen that we've been working on. It's pretty crazy how just these headlights and the screen completely modernized this car. We now have these bright LEDs up front, these bright taillights in back, and we have Apple CarPlay and even a reverse camera as soon as we put it in reverse. It is unbelievable how cheap and affordable both of these modifications are, as well as how easy they are to install. We're all done on the interior. Let's start making things cool on the outside. But one quick thing, there's still 95% of you guys that have really been enjoying our videos but have not been hitting the subscribe button. So do us a favor, support this father-son team, hit that subscribe button.
Before we put the Avalon up in the air, let's make sure we prepare for that. We just gotta simply take the seat out here, which, yeah, piece of cake, just like that, bada bing. Pop the headrest out so we can access a bolt.
And we want to make sure we take that headrest out on both sides. Then we just take a screwdriver, kind of pry out this little plastic panel right here, and then we need ourselves a 12 mil, and we do this on both sides. And once you have both of those out, we're just going to pull these forward so we can access these 3 screws that are hiding right behind them. And then we're going to take off these 3 bolts that are right on the top of, well, essentially our struts. And I'm really excited to show you what we're putting in. And after we get all 6 of those bolts loosened back, let's go under the hood, where there's going to be, just like in back, 3 on each side. And then we're just gonna take off all of the wheels, but I should mention one thing. Rather than pull out all of the bolts on the top of the struts, you guys should not do that if you don't have a lift at home. It's just a lot easier to do after the fact. You don't want the wheel to drop all the way down. So if you're doing this on the ground, wait till you're done to remove those bolts. Now this is what I've been really excited to show you guys. These are T6 coilovers for MaXpeedingrods. They're very well regarded for a budget-friendly, affordable coilover that give us availability for dampening adjustment, ride height adjustment, as well as camber adjustment. Now these coilovers are going to allow us to lower that Avalon down and give us a really nice stance. These are some of the only coilovers available on the entire market for the Avalon platform, so let's get them in there and improve this thing's ride quality, handling, and look.
At the end of the day, this is really basic mechanic work as far as getting the old McPherson struts out of both the front and rear of the Avalon. You just have to disconnect some brake line brackets as well as some speed sensors. The most challenging thing you will do to date with anything on the Avalon is removing the sway bar end links, both in the front and rear. You have to have a little Allen wrench inside of there while trying to loosen the nut there, and they're most likely rusted and corroded. So that will be the most challenging thing. You should probably plan on having new sway bar end links and maybe a way to cut them off if it comes to that.
And once we have everything disconnected and taken out, it's time to start putting our new parts from MaXpeedingrods in. And we're going to start off with this sway bar link. Now this is an adjustable sway bar link, allowing us to increase or decrease the overall length of this thing. And it's actually really well built. So shout out to MaXpeedingrods for that. Now, ultimately, we're going to reinstall this the same way we took the old one out. And the reason that this is adjustable now is since we can lift and lower the car, the suspension geometry in the front end of the car changes pretty dramatically. So actually come check this out for a minute, just for fun. So this is the next step right after we start installing that. This is our factory McPherson strut, and this is our new coilover. Just to give you a quick rundown, the top hat of our front coilovers has adjustable camber plate where we can allow the wheels to sit in or out. Down here on the bottom of the coilover, this is how we adjust our ride height. You can adjust the spring rate as well. However, MaXpeedingrods does not suggest that you change it because it's already set up for a daily driver right out of their factory. Now what we do here is ultimately line it up with our factory strut. We're then going to measure the distance and length, and that's about the amount that the car is going to lower. It's just kind of an eyeball per se. And then ultimately what we do is we just spin this top hat, then we spin this lower hat, and that is going to help us raise and lower the car, whichever we prefer. I currently have it set up so we're going to lower the car about 2.5 inches. So let's go ahead and tighten this top hat down with the tools that are supplied and get this thing in there. And now that we have all of the necessary hardware in, we're just going to use a jack to lift up the bottom of that whole hub assembly to line up our 3 bolts on the coilover and get those right on in. And we already have that done on the driver's side as well. I'm so excited to get the back done and see what this thing looks like lowered.
Austin's wrapping up the front. I'm in the back getting the rear struts taken out. Pretty piece of cake. We're just nuts and bolts essentially. Already have the driver's side taken out and working over on the passenger side now. And like I said, you're just removing really a brake line, a couple brackets there. We already removed up top as we showed you guys. And then you got your big dogs down below. In the back, they are a little smaller. They're 19s instead of 22s, son.
Install on those MaXpeedingrods Coilovers is very straightforward, just a couple few nuts and bolts, and they're really high quality parts. And this is gonna be our first time lowering it down to see how it looks. Let's set her down onto the ground here to check out that new stance.
Before the entire package comes together for you guys, there wouldn't be such a thing as a slammed good-looking car without a decent sounding exhaust. We went with these Evil Energy mufflers that kind of have a little JDM flair. You gotta appreciate that. And they just bring the right tone to the 3.5 liter V6, which is essentially the same V6 they find in a Lotus, so it does have a great engine note. We don't want to hide that.
And now that we're low and have a great sound, we also needed to get those windows tinted. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the ultimate daily driver that you can get for under $10,000. And it doesn't just look good. It really does have a great tone to it, and anyone that already has been in an Avalon knows that 3.5 can get down and boogie. And believe it or not, it actually rides really good with these MaXpeedingrods Coilovers. The handling has been significantly increased. It's so much more fun to drive around corners. After we got it aligned, the handling is fantastic. Right out of the box, the camber was perfect, which was really surprising. Just it was a tow and go ultimately. And even being this low, it rides really solid. I've already put probably 300 miles on it since we put those coilovers in. And I just wanted to put those miles on it to verify how good they were, because I was surprised at how low this thing truly is. It rides better than it did stock, arguably. Other than we were going slow, the bumps going slow are a bit more aggressive, but at highway speeds, it is better than it was stock. It's very impressive what those MaXpeedingrods Coilovers could do.
Check it out. What's really cool here is you can get an Avalon, a really nice clean example, anywhere from, we'll call it $5,000 to $7,000. And what we have essentially done to this is we've put anywhere from $1,000 to $1,600 of updates or modifications into it, just really bringing this 07 Avalon to current day standards. I really appreciate the LED headlights from Lasfit. They look really good. I can't believe how much that changed the car, addressing the fog lights, the headlights, all the turn signals and tail lights. It does really look like a more luxurious car that's from the modern day. We can't forget about the screen that we put in from CarTablet. So it's a really affordable option. And not only is it affordable, we took out the tech that was outdated. That cassette is now long gone. The tape deck we were never going to use, we took out of the car and repurposed that space with some technology that brings Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and even some integration into the car's audio system. And let's not forget the backup camera. The only downfall with that position that we mounted that screen in, we can't use the included dash cam because obviously we mounted it down low. But I wouldn't change it because it looks sweet.
One thing I like to do after we test drive something, no matter what the heck we do to it, is just check for codes, make sure we're not tripping anything. We were dealing with wheel speed sensors. Sometimes exhaust can trip those secondary O2s. So I just like to scan for codes and make sure that we're not tripping any faults on the system or anything like that. And you guys have asked what scan tool that I use in the past, and this is the scan tool I use from TopDon. It is a really affordable way to ultimately scan and test and check live data in your vehicle. It's a really, really affordable option. There's no monthly subscription fees or anything like that. It's all Bluetooth and nicely integrates into this small little package, and it's on like the latest version of Android, so it's really fast actually. I'll just go ahead and establish the vehicle. I've got it plugged into the OB2, and we've got no codes. We are all good to go. Now, if you guys are looking for a super affordable scan tool, be sure to check out this one from TopDon. I highly recommend it. I love this package. It has a lot of functionality for its price point. link down in the description below. One of the things I can't stand about today's day and age is there's so many people that are going out there and buying cars they cannot afford that are also unreliable. Pretty much every new car out there is 30 grand and unreliable.
Are you referencing the Jag in the background?
No, we're not even talking about that. I just mean, somebody's gonna go out and buy a Ford Escape over, you could buy one of these. You can buy one of these for like $6-7 grand, like he brought up, and we just did between $1,000 and $1,500 worth of mods, depending on how you do your tint and exhaust. If you do it all DIY, you can do this all for about $1,000. We're talking about essentially a vehicle from 2007 that has all now modern features, LED lights, Apple CarPlay. We made it kind of cool and customized by lowering it down, doing some exhaust. And we didn't even bring up the fact that this is sitting on a 5x114.3 bolt pattern. One of the most common bolt patterns out there. We're talking about wheels from Mustangs, new Camrys, new Avalons, Infinities. You can swap the wheels out so easily by checking Facebook Marketplace. So when this thing's tires are officially shot, you know I'm gonna hop on Marketplace and try to find myself a nice set of takeoff wheels. However, the offset you have to play around with because from the factory it's like a plus 40. So they're really gotta be in there a little bit with how tight we are in the rear end.
I really enjoyed this project on the Avalon. We'll see if we still come up with a few things, but ultimately it's fun to tinker on stuff that you can afford. And I really appreciate the Avalon as well as all the components we integrated into it in today's video. It's always enjoyable to do it on a lift. The lifts that are behind me are super affordable from Nationwide, Best Buy Auto Equipment. We really appreciate them for making our garage look awesome. Make sure you check out the link down in the description below, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.
See you guys next time, and I think we can officially say we've made a Toyota Avalon cool.